So here I have another little clip of a filing cabinet, but this one is your mainstream learner, kind of like the example we went through, very organized. The person is at the ready and anxious to take in information and just file it. I'm going to show you a picture of someone who has a brain something like mine. Very interesting filing cabinet. It's an incredible filing cabinet. This student as well is anxious to learn, is taking in all kinds of information, is just as curious. They might run into a little bit of trouble though. They may put some information in the wrong file. They may put it in the right file and go back later to get it, but can't remember where they put it. But they still want to learn. They have all this information in there, and now sometimes they need to know how to express it too. Well, these students, for some people, this seems like total chaos. But remember, we don't want to change these brains. We want to give them strategies by which they can become more efficient filers. We had a clip earlier of Leonardo da Vinci. Now you have a quote that said, "Awaken the genius in the jumble of things." His mind was like this. We're talking math, we're talking art, we're talking science. He could do it all, but it was never looking very organized. So he's saying, don't change this brain. There is genius in it. Just make sure that they get what they need within the confines of a structured learning environment. Another gentleman, Einstein. Apparently he had some difficulties with school too. He also left us with an awful lot of great quotes. This is one of my favorite. Learning is experience. Everything else is just information. So that's it for Angie giving you a whole bunch of facts. I told you up front that we were going to have an experiential workshop because I really do believe that if you can experience what it's like, it will lock it in, that filing cabinet of yours, that much easier. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some brain exercises. You can stay in your chairs for these, but we are going to challenge you. And what these brain exercises do is they are going to simulate processing challenges that kids with learning disabilities might have. We're going to look at examples of visual processing, examples of spatial processing, auditory processing, processing with speed, and the all-popular memory piece that can be quite challenging. And we're going to begin with visual processing. I would think we're all on the same page here. Processing visually means you're taking information in through your eyes. So there's going to be a series of different clips coming up, and I'm going to call upon you to just free thinking here, just offer up what a visual means to you. I am very mindful that I have some well-read folks in front of me, so some of you may have seen some of these examples before, and if you have, I would ask you to zip it and allow the other folks in the room to have their moment of awareness as well. But I can pretty much guarantee you haven't seen all of them. So to begin, we have this image. Anyone care to tell me what they see when they see that image? No mistakes. Brisket. Be my risk takers. What do you see? Yes?
I think I see a dog.
He sees a dog. Anyone else see anything different? Because that's an interesting answer, but not the correct one. Yes? She sees a cowboy on a horse. Look, what I'm going to do in the right-hand corner, I will add that similar picture. And if everyone still can't see it, I will outline my cowboy on a horse. And when I take it away, can we now all identify within those blotches the cowboy on the horse? All right, so we all got to the same end result. My job, because we were all looking at the same thing, but we were not all seeing the same thing, not all processing in the same way or at the same rate. But with some direct instruction, I go, well, how about now? Let's look at it this way. How about this way? Until at the end, as much as it took a little bit extra time, we all arrive at an understanding of the image, which really was the purpose of the exercise. Another image coming up, this one by Da Vinci. This is called Self-Portrait. It's been named for him because it was an early sketch. Does anyone see anything interesting in that image?
I see.
There's a person, sitting on a donkey or something.
We see a couple of people on a donkey. Maybe everybody doesn't yet. Let me bring it over here. And it looks like he's painting a picture of a donkey, right? In actual fact, it is a self-portrait. He is painting a picture of himself riding in the Alps. Look closely now, because his actual face is also a duplicate man on a donkey. Now, Da Vinci thought that visual perception was the main tool for all of us to get knowledge. And I think it's a bit of a giggle that he had a sense of humor to make a picture like that, and here we are 500 years later learning about visual perception based on his genius. So visual perception, or processing, very important. Let's move on to another one. This one did go around the internet, so you may have seen it. This is a timed exercise, I'll tell you up front, just to add a little anxiety. I'm going to count to 10, and those of you that can find, once I take the screen part away, the face of the man in the coffee beans, simply put up your hand, and let's hope we get lots of hands up by the time I get to 10. So you are looking for the face of a man in the coffee beans. And if that's too far away, just look to one of the screens to your left or right. And beginning now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The aha, the exhale of, oh, there it is. We had a couple that were able to see it. Now, what did we do here? We're all looking at the same thing, and we're not all seeing the same thing. Some of us very logical left brain people were going, not that bean, not that bean, not that bean. And some of us maybe right brain thinkers are thinking, is this one of those 3D things? I never was very good at those. But also, I did add some anxiety by, you're wanting to be on task. You're trying to do this because it's been asked of you. But adding the timed piece also causes a learning blocker. But there it is, the picture. So we're all looking at the same thing, not all processing it the same way. We're going to quickly move on now to your exercises regarding spatial processing. And that's just that information means something based on the space that it takes up. Here we go. What do we got? Big Al here? What if I shrink them? Anybody see anything different? What do you see? Marilyn Monroe? My goodness, I don't think that guy looks anything like that gal. But the space it took up changed the way the brain processed the information for you. Here we have a rocky coastline, maybe PEI, maybe Nova Scotia. Let's change the space. A mother and child. The exact same image. But when the space changed, the brain processed the information differently. The message became different. Let's try another one because these ones are fun. The profile of a man's face. This man has liar written all over his face. Change the space, change the message that went to your brain. Wedded bliss. Should we change the space? What's going to happen? Divorce. Can go well for those two. Here we have the profile of a horse. I'm all about the horses. Change the space. Frog on a lily pad. Again, the space changes, the way your brain processes the image changes.